Hey everyone. What's up? It's been a while. Thank you for your patience with me getting this set up. It went a little slower than I thought it was going to. Had some technical difficulties, but we're up now. And yeah, how's everyone doing? Unlike most of these live stream things, I don't have a too much planned, I guess. If there's anything y'all want to see, any progress reports. Oh, Star Wars Story says hello from LA. Well, what's up, man? How are you doing? It's been a hot minute. I'm really excited to show people what we might be cooking up together, but I'll leave that till whenever we get that. I can show you all a little bit of what I've been working on. A lot of y'all know that I've been trying to make a wolf cameo for Revenge of the Sith, and that's actually done. With the exception of sound design, I can show a little bit here. So there won't be any audio. Also for copyright reasons, and I'm going to skip into it. So we'd get a whole Order 66 scene. Golly, those little worm things are so cool. Or big worm things, I guess. So yeah, this is where mine starts. And then it would go back into the original. We'd get Order 66. There's like the wolf logo. Then we get Wolf's reaction shot. Which and that's the whole thing. I hope that satisfies that the wolf cameo kind of itch. I hope that lived up to the hype that I tried to build for it a little bit. I will be doing like a whole breakdown of how I made it, decisions made. I'm pretty proud of it. It's the first time I actually got to use a mocap suit, and I think the animation, I think it worked for the most part, but there's definitely some learning curves that I still need to go through, some stuff I still need to learn in using the suit and just animation in general. Like, I'm not a talented animator, but getting to that point I think can really help future edits, especially because you guys know me. I come up with some really ambitious ideas that I don't know if they're all possible, but I try. There is but yeah, I'll make a full breakdown video for that. The goal is to have it released sometime this coming week. But we'll see. I don't want to make a promise and then not keep it. Wow, you guys are so complimentary. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Prism says, "Hey Wookiees, it's been a bit. So intrigued about whether or not Discord will be after. Question: Did you take down your past live streams? I can't find them. I have no idea where those went. I will work on making sure that those are available. I think they should be like in the YouTube live page, but I don't know. I'll try and get that fixed if it's on my end. And then, yes, there will be a little bit of Discord solo chat where we can all hang out after the stream. Nick says Wolf in episode 3 is going to get you a call from Dave Filoni. I hope a good call. The worst kind would be like a cease and desist. That would be like meeting your hero and then meeting like don't meet your heroes kind of a thing, where it'd be like, oh man, that kind of sucks. Here, I can show you some other stuff I've been able to work on. April's been a like super intense month for me and my life. Just a little bit. I don't want to drag it too much, but there's some big changes happening in my personal life. We are expecting a second baby, so that's super exciting. Super pumped for that. We know it'll be a little boy, so we're gonna have 2 boys in the house, which will keep me very busy. So I will try and keep you guys up to date and continue to update these projects, but dad comes first. And then also, I officially left the studio I've been working with on really good terms, really, really great relationship with them. I just thought, hey, I kind of want to focus more on doing like animation stuff and trying to do more of this world and get into it. Trying to do VFX for maybe some other studios. Probably start small and then with graphic design work, but work my way up. I think I can make stuff that looks good enough for a lot of clients, and we'll see where that goes. But doing lots of wedding films. Those, I actually adore making wedding films. Is really, really fun. But that should hopefully be more freeing for me in the sense that maybe I'll have more time to work on Star Wars edits, which is probably the most pertinent thing for you guys. Is I'd like to get back to a place where I'm routinely posting for you guys. I hit a really good stride in, I want to say like 24. It was like mid 24. But then we had our first baby, and yeah, just that, I think it started to become pretty irregular, just whenever I could. Even tonight, I tried to hop on the live stream, and it took me a hot second because nothing was set up. And I wanted to make sure it looked good, because when this is done, it'll be on the internet forever. So I wanted it to look a little decent. Yeah, let's get back into some of the progress updates on some of the edits I've made. Prism asked, does this mean weekly to bi-weekly streams? Probably not. I loved doing the bi-weekly streams, but I think we're going to stick to probably a monthly. I'd like to hit streams first Saturday of every month, but doing wedding films or doing VFX work, if life gets in the way, I will try and let y'all know ahead of time on Discord is where I'll do those updates, so y'all can stay up to date with any of that. Thank you for the congratulations on the second kid. Really, really pumped for that. Yeah, so let's check out some of this other stuff. If you're on the Discord, I bet you've seen a little bit about this, but I kind of wanted to show you all some of the stuff where the sequels, some of the sequel stuff I'm working on. I don't know what version this is. I have updated it, but we'll see. Oh, yeah, this one looks pretty good. But this is, I added Kaminoans to Exegol. And I think they look pretty neat. They would definitely be here. I'll probably make a whole Exegol video too. I don't know when that'll come out, but here's what will be in it is Sith Kaminoan, so that when we see Palpatine return, it's not like he comes out of left field, and it's not like there's at least some visual context of how he returned, whereas like in the original film, you know, it was a one-liner of like cloning, Sith, dark side, voodoo, stuff only the Sith knew. And yeah, that doesn't work for me as well, especially when Kaminoans are such an. I mean, it's low hanging fruit really to grab these classic characters and bring them to Episode 9 as a reference to the prequels, but also establish cloning in as a how we return Palpatine, especially that when that's the direction that they went. And I know there's probably some thought to, oh, but the Kaminoans were destroyed in the Bad Batch. Spoilers. It's a couple years old. It doesn't count. We're good. I'm sorry, but yeah, just putting the Kaminoans in. I like to think that these are like Sith loyalists, and I kind of put that into their design. Nope, not that. Where this is the actual shot. This is what it looks like in before it's like motion tracked in or anything. It looks pretty silly, but like for their design, I gave them like this weird armor piercing type, like very jaggedy stuff. This isn't necessarily the best view for it, but it'll be really fast. Like their eyes aren't like that weird when the final render goes in. This is just like a preview viewing thing. If I turn this off, it looks a little better. But yeah, it'll I kind of just played around with the design, tried to figure out something that looked like it was added on top. I wanted it to feel spiky, as if the Sith just kind of like jagged out, and like their clothes would be incredibly uncomfortable. Like the old Kaminoans could come off as nurturing to the clones during the war. These guys could never. They're just, they can't give you a hug. You know what I mean? It's a weird way of thinking about it. But then there was this one that actually came out with had a thing where he is going to be like the leader. Now, when I say he's going to be the leader, I mean like in the background, like this is my own lore I'm adding. But I don't think we would see a scene or anything where he'd be like leading them. It's more of just a visual motif of hierarchy, so that this feels like there's stuff in the background, even if it's not explained. Like I'll make a YouTube video and I can explain it to you guys. But in the sense of in the film, I think it'd be way too distracting to be like this guy's head honcho, when yeah, it's just not important. But one of the things I did is I actually forgot to add his eyeball at one point when I was adding the textures to him, and I was like, oh man, I don't want to do that. And like a little bit of laziness bubbled up, which can happen. But then the laziness, which this is incredibly rare, laziness turned into inspiration, to where I started moving around some of the geometry to have it look like he lost an eye. And I was like, this is kind of sick. Where, imagine, like, he's this crooked Kaminoan that has just, like, lost his eye because, you know, the Sith don't take very good care of him. You know, and even if he does lose an eye, he's fine. It kind of gives him this very evil vibe to him. I'll probably do that thing where, like I did with adding the ghost to Return of the Jedi, where I do some shots with the Kaminoans that are like far in the background, like the one I just showed off. But then I'll probably do like a close-up of this guy in particular, just because I'm really happy with his missing eye. And y'all can either choose to have the close-up in it or remove it, whatever we want to do. And then I added a little fin on top. I didn't want it to be like really big. I wanted it to be like very thin, as if, you know, like the older Kaminoans in episode 2 that had these fins, they were like big and beautiful. I didn't want his to grow in properly, so his needs to look very like cut short. It also kind of gives him a military vibe, which I like. And then of course it got cut halfway. You know, it hasn't grown in properly. So he's not doing too well there. And then yeah, I just kind of added little bits of spikes and stuff, so we can understand that these are bad guy Kaminoans. These are Sith loyalists. But here, let me go through some of what y'all have said. What is the Kaminoan for? It's a great question. They're going to be explaining how Palpatine returned. They won't explain it in the movie, but they'll be there as background fodder for visual explanation. You know, a show don't tell kind of moment of, oh, Palpatine was cloned. I think it's still kind of important to have Palpatine say he's a clone, or have someone say he's a clone, just to give it that definitive answer, because the original film just left us so much in the dark, which is really annoying for a Star Wars film full of nerds, especially because it was such a fast-paced movie. I mean, it's like we could stop and smell the roses on some things, and a little bit of backstory for Palpatine probably would have served the film instead of hurt it. Nick says, what was that thing from the very start of the stream, that sequel space battle? I bet you're talking about my episode 9 battle that I'm adding in. Maybe have a scared Kaminoan say it to Kylo Ren, like cast a voice actor with a German accent, like like the Kaminoan. Oh, you know what'd be kind of neat? I don't know too much about how I feel about this, but I'll at least pitch it to you guys since we're here. What if for episode 9 we did kind of like a Kaminoan tour, kind of reminiscent to like Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars? Like, or I should say before the Clone Wars, in Attack of the Clones, when like Obi-Wan shows up at Kamino, and then one of the Kaminoans gives him the tour of the facility. We could do something very similar to that, which would explain it. What if episode 9 was good? Could you imagine? Prism says no to Kaminoan tour. It makes the scene too lengthy and ruins the pacing. I mean, I don't know the pacing yet. I mean, it could be really short, but I do think it would be too exposition-y. I don't know. I'm gonna throw that out there. Get some vibes going. See if y'all resonate with it. I'm probably leaning against it. I think if I were to do something like that, I would want to do more of Palpatine exploring the space, and there's no acting. There's no voice acting in it. There's just us getting to look around, and it's unsettling that way. We would see statues like falling over, statues that we recognize from like ancient Sith. Maybe they come from a video game. Yeah, I think it'd probably be better if we didn't do the Kaminoan tour, now that I think about it. Just because it needs to be creepy, and having no explanation to how these things came to be would probably be best. But having Kylo tour would be necessary. Leo asks, are you still adding the Eye of Webbish Bog thing? Yes, I believe so right now. He is at least in a previs. I'm working on the work print for episode 9 right now. So while I work on and finish some ideas, because I just know they're going to be at the finish line there are other ideas that I'm like, I don't know if this works quite yet. So it's in a previs state, or excuse me, or a state where you're like, it's just a photo with text on it, just to see like, oh, does this work? A good example would be like this, for example, where, and I put a little preview in the corner. So if any of y'all say that doesn't look finished, it's not. It's always someone. There we go. Preview. And then we would have a thing with Kylo Ren standing here. And then he would destroy this. This is a whole scene. I'll go into a deeper explanation into a video. But then, yeah, I stole this from the deleted scene from episode 8 and added Mustafar in the background. I think it looks pretty good. I think it works really well. That looks pretty good. And I like that it shows off his scar, especially because the scar goes away in this movie. But then, yes, we go to Mustafar. This is a new shot I added with the help of Zircron 45. He helped do a lot of the foreground terrain and help texturing the castle part. Let's see. And then Kylo would battle these guys. And then this is when we would get the Eye of Webbish Bog. This is my attempt. I don't know if it's still here, where Kylo would like open this thing and there would just be no wayfinder. It's just not there. That took a hot minute to figure out how to do. And it's still not perfect. You can see a dramatic jump. I'll point out the magic trick because I got to figure out how to fix it. Where it goes like that, and then his arm goes in front of it, and then, yeah, it's just a dramatic, like, that doesn't look good. That's not gonna work. But then I think we would go to the scene of the Eye of Webbish Bog, where the Eye would basically tell Kylo Ren to go to Vader's castle. And that would be his main role. So if you want the Eye of Webbish Bog to be how he appears in, say, like the book, where in the novelization, the Eye is kind of a prophetess. In the comic books, the Eye gives advice or helps Darth Vader in a lot of ways. And this version, I think he's just there to send Kylo to the next location. And it's relevant because Kylo wouldn't naturally go and explore the castle next. He's already been to the castle. He has no reason to think that the Wayfinder would be there. He thinks it's in this crate. So, here, let me catch up on some of you guys. Let's see. It's great that you can edit so well. Can you edit without any problem? Let your creativity flow. I edit with lots of problems. That's the main reason I edit, is to be a problem solver. And a lot of things I try to do may not arrive at the finish line. But I'm always going to try my best to get it to that finish line, because there are just some ideas that you come up with and you're like, oh, this is really great, and then you start working on it and you're like, this sucks. And knowing when to pull that. For example, if we want to go back to the wolf shot, there is something that the editor in me and the VFX artist in me are kind of fighting. And I'll elaborate more on this in that video that's coming out. But I can do it more casually here, I guess. So now that we've seen the whole sequence again, I can kind of explain that the editor in me really thinks that it's probably best to cut this shot. That it just isn't needed. It's kind of. I mean, these immediately jump into action, and I tried to replicate that with this so that we went straight into Wolf, because any other placing of the shot just didn't work. I put it in every possible section and it just didn't work. This was probably the best place to put it. And still, I think starting on this wide shot is probably a better editing move. But the VFX artist in me spent like a bajillion hours on getting this shot done. I'm making this one done. And I really like the way it looks. I think it looks really great. It just doesn't fit the sequence like too well. And I think if we go from like seeing this where there's a battle over here to the left, like that establishes where Wolf is when we get to see him at the end here. You know, so even though, but then this is your whole Wolf cameo. This is all of it, would be just his reaction shot. Which, you know, in a lot of cases, less is more. And I think that might be my editing professional opinion, is to cut this shot for the sake of it's not actually needed, even though I think it looks cool. As a VFX artist, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I like the highlights. I like how a lot of the motion goes down. I like the action. But yeah, it may not need to be here. I'll still debate it. I have no idea. I think what I might end up doing is looking at my partner in crime for this edit, which is, his name is Crimson Mall. A lot of you guys probably know him. If not, check out his channel. I'll add a link to the description. There's nothing in the description right now, but I'll add it. And if not, just YouTube. He's really great. I might make him make the final decision, or if you guys, I can start a poll. Should I cut it? I could just start that. See what you guys think. You know, see what the masses think. Oh, most people are saying no already. It's been on my heart for a while. It's been a pretty big tug of war. So, I really think it's gonna work for some people and not work for others. But we will see. New scene of Wolf. He's on Cato Nemoidia. Yep, this is where this whole scene takes place. Is on Cato Nemoidia. Can you scroll through the work print post Saber Duel? I want to see how the third act final battle plan to change of episode 9. We can see what I have for sure. There's not a ton post Saber Duel. There's this little teaser, I guess I could give, where we are gonna get Anakin to show up and help save Ben Solo. That's post Saber Duel, just post. I really want to make this work. The reason I'm only showing this shot is because the rest of them are Garbo, Tarbo. But with that said, I learned a lot from making this happen, and I really think if I refilm this, I'm going to be able to show it to you guys. I'm pretty confident in that. Um, there's only some small things that need to be changed that I did not film correctly the first time. I also want you all to see that I don't just edit like with my own ideas. This project is a cocktail of all the great ideas that I find from you guys across the internet, and I want to make sure I'm always giving credit where credit is due. For example, I'm using some of the shots from the Ascendant version of Star Wars where they did a day for night for when Rey goes to the island, so that metaphorically it starts off at night when she's in, you know, her depression, and then, you know, as Luke talks to her, it becomes daytime again. Not that fast, but so that's an edit. Another edit that I can't necessarily claim originality on, although if we see my notes, if I were to show you guys my notes, like after seeing episode 9 for the first time, I actually loved it. I thought it was so good. I was like, they freaking nailed that thing. But then the problem was I started thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, that doesn't work. Well, wait, did they ever explain that? No. And I my commute from like college to home when 2019 when the movie came out was like 5-hour drive, so I didn't go like every day. Obviously, it was like, you know, whenever summer hit. I was camp counselor for a long time, so I would drive, and on those long drives, I started thinking about this doesn't make sense. And then I started writing notes, and one of the notes was give Leia a purple lightsaber based on that one interview I saw of Carrie Fisher. And then, yeah, not an original idea. So many people have come up with this idea that I didn't even do this edit. This was a part of the Ascendant edit, but I'm like, I want it, and it looks beautiful. So I want to give credit where credit is due. So that'll be an edit. There's another one towards the end of episode 9. Ignore that. Where is it? And this is a lot of you guys have seen this as well. But if you haven't, I'd love to introduce you to one of the coolest edits I've ever seen for episode 9. Also, just because you see some clips here doesn't mean it makes it to the final. Just putting that out there. Let's see. Oh, yeah, like Rey doesn't even have her purple lightsaber in this scene. Like there's still a ton of work to be done. I don't want y'all to think, "Oh, this is just around the corner." Let's see. That isn't there. Let's see. I had to move it because some of these have pretty intense spoilers or things I'm not ready to share yet. But I'll go back here in a second. Here, I'll do this. I know, I'm like the one guy who uses the Windows 10 like screen. It's embarrassing to me too. You know what? No, I'm not embarrassed. I'm gonna own that. That's mine now. Maybe, I don't know. Where is it? Ah, I think this is it. No, not that one. I think it is this one. Yeah, it is. I'll just be a little lazy for y'all's sake and just throw it in here just to, or throw it in there, and then yeah, there we go. Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is an edit made by a guy named John. And then the purple lightsaber effects are by the Ascended team again. But he added the Force Ghosts to this final battle. And it is absolutely a crime that they were not there. So that's an edit that's going in mine that I didn't do. But I'm like, that's so cool. There's some other Force Ghost edits I've seen of this exact scene that include like Qui-Gon and other Force Ghosts that I'm like would be perfect for this scene. So I might end up either editing on top of this where I add the other characters, or if it makes sense or if it's doable, kind of mix and match some of the other people as long as the quality is maintained. I don't want to keep pulling stuff and then it's like a dip in quality per clip. That's not going to happen. But I reached out to the guy who made this originally and asked for permission. So John let me use this too. So very excited to have that in the end. Let's see. Yes, this is an idea I had. But we'll look at that another day. That's just, who knows if that ends up working. And then a lot of you, if y'all have been following me for a while, this is the first edit I ever made for this channel, which is Rey building her lightsaber at the end of the movie. I've learned so much since this first. Oh gosh, that's gonna. Yeah, I've learned so much since doing this within the realm of VFX that I'm like, I think this could be remade and look really, really great. This shot looks really good to me. Like, remember there's a hole in the ground here, and I'm like, that looks great. That just looks fine. Some of the things that I really want to fix are the lightsabers in two places. So it's right there and right there. So that's got to change. And then I think we should spend more time building the lightsaber. So things like having her go from this scene here to adding additional shots of just like the pieces like floating around and whatnot. But yeah, I think this could be a slower moment. I think the best parts about this edit that like the most extended stuff you'll see is extending the bookends to try and slow it down. But I'm trying to think of more ideas to extend it in the middle too, because of the movie just has a breakneck pace. And right now it's like, oh, the beginning takes a long time and the ending takes a long time, but then the middle is still like, whoop, like super tight. So we need to come up with some ideas on here from y'all's perspective. I hope that sound effect like really resonated with you guys and it really like stuck in your mind. Let's see. Honestly, about the wolf shot, you're overthinking it. You may not need it, but it also looks cool. Sometimes you got to go for coolness over perfection. Oh, I totally agree. I'm not even necessarily going for perfection, as I have two different brains here of like an editing brain and a VFX artist brain. And the VFX artist is like, do what's cool. And then the editing brain is saying it's not necessary. And it's distracting, and it hurts the film more than adds to it. But it's also just like a random cameo. Like, the MCU adds random cameos for the sake of it. Although that's probably an argument against it. I don't know. Let's see. it's all about episode 9 or just Exegol battle. I don't know what that's referencing, but yes. No, I try and make a guess. I want to extend or fix all of episode 9, especially the Exegol battle. There are a lot of extended edition stuff I want to do for the Exegol battle. One big thing that'll actually be all throughout episode 9 and a little bit in episode 8. That, fingers crossed, I really want to do this one. I really, really want to do this one. I just do not want to give y'all a promise and then have it not being made. But I've talked about it in other live streams, but I really want to add Kyle Katarn. I have an actor lined up. And I think he can do a really, really great job. He looks the part. He sounds the part. The hardest thing is wardrobe right now. I've been saving up on my own finances. I don't want to ask anything of you guys at all. This all comes out of my pocket. Don't send me anything. But I'm trying to buy wardrobe and get that looking right. The outfit is actually pretty cheap, and we can make something that's very inexpensive look really, really great. The hard thing is like getting the right lightsaber and blaster and making sure I'm getting one that's like quality enough. But finally, I'm putting some finances aside for that particular project. So if you're excited for that, the goal would be to purchase everything within the next couple of weeks, line up scheduling for my actor, and then execute everything in one day, which kind of like the amount of scenes he's going to have. Like, I don't want you to think he's an extensive part of episode 8 and 9, but I hope it's enough to do the character justice and give context to Luke's Jedi during this time era, because the way that they were all like, hey, they executed Order 66 again, it just doesn't sit right with me. And I'm like, no, we can send the Jedi into hiding, and Luke doesn't want them to get in the war because the last time they did, they were extinct, or something like that. There's a lot of reasoning that we can get that can come from Luke's point of view to send himself into hiding and the Jedi into hiding, and to say, like, we're not interfering, not until I say so. And then at the end of episode 8, he'd be like, all right, it's time to interfere. And then the Jedi would be very much a part of the war in episode 9. Let's see. You should be embarrassed about the Windows 10 thing. Nah. I'm too far gone. I'm like an addict at this point. I purchased a thing that lets me make custom tiles. That's how much of an addict I am. I make my own little cubes and they spin, and it's so, I love it. Let's see. Fix the grenade on the clone's back that disappears in Revenge of the Sith when he destroys a crab droid. I hate that mistake. I didn't even know that was a mistake. I kind of want to see that. I have some time. Y'all want to check this out? See if it's actually there? While this is loading, we can... Wait, I need to make sure that this doesn't load on the wrong thing, because I have some edits planned with some friends that I'm like, I don't want to spoil their stuff. Let's see. I would have liked you to edit that clone with Boyle's helmet, but I prefer that you add the grenade to the disappearing. Yeah, let's check this out. Okay, clone disappearing back. No, not that. It'll be after that. It's the crab droid guy. I know exactly who you're talking about. You don't even need to elaborate. I know everyone knows the the crab droid guy, which is later. I believe it's in the montage that rejoins the fight. Maybe? Let's see. No, back here a little bit. We'll find it. Let's see. Now I'm dedicated. I know this isn't even a great stream to watch anymore. I've seen this movie so many times. And to know that there's a disappearing grenade pack is so fascinating to me. I've watched these at like 0.25 speed. Is it before? Ah, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So, let's check. He's got grenade pack here, 2 little packs here, and grenade pack there. And then, yeah, fully doesn't have it. Yeah, I don't think it's there. I don't think it's there at all. Yeah. Oh, and then well, that's pretty obvious. If I did fix that, I'm just going to be completely transparent. It's probably at the bottom of my list of things to fix, just because, I mean, I have not noticed this at all. That's incredible that you found that detail. My wife commented. She's so sweet. I see you, hun. Let's see. What else? Wait. Everyone look away. That was for her. But maybe that was so cringy. I don't know. I'm trying, y'all. Okay. I think Wolf's reaction gives some emotional depth to the clones for the first time viewer. His reaction to me reads as confused or conflicted. I know about the chip lore. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. Because, there is a point where I'm like, oh, I'll just add a cameo for a cameo's sake. But then there's a part of me that also hates that and is like, oh, there should be intent behind this. And to know that Wolf and someone just commented cringe. I know. It's whatever. I'm having a second baby, so we're in a very passionate like phase, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, having the idea that Wolf would actually be able to react to Plo Koon, and seeing his death, there would be some reaction, even if the chip was activated, that there would still be that strain, kind of like how Rex had a single tear rolling down his cheek when he was forced to try and attack Ahsoka. Let's see. Any updates about the Senate chamber scene in The Force Awakens? No, I had to pause on that, but I would like to finish that previs first. We will have to see where that goes. I'd like to. There's some episode 7 stuff. There's 2 big episode 7 stuff that I really want to get done. First is actually revisiting an edit I made a while back, and when I see these, I don't actually know when I'll get them done or when I'll even get started, but just so we can get ideas flowing. The idea is I had Palpatine as a giant hologram say his like mission before all the stormtroopers, to show that he was directly affiliated with the First Order and that they were following his commands. I mean, it's pretty obvious because they're stormtroopers and the First Order is clearly just the Empire again. But I was thinking it'd be really cool if I replaced the giant hologram, if y'all have seen that video, with the red sentry droid, and add from the Battlefront 2 video games, from the Aftermath trilogy, from the one comic book that kind of started the Journey to the Force Awakens series. That I was thinking would be really cool to add that red sentry droid in, because he's obviously not Palpatine, and it connects to like that lore to show that these sentry droids have been kind of leading as Palpatine's proxy as he recovers far in the background. It very much gently foreshadows his return before his, return. Because in this version of the sequel trilogy, we're going to try and build up to that moment instead of having it come out of left field and having episode 8 and 9 feel like a tug of war between directors. We want episode 7 to go into 8 and episode 8 to go into 9. And now that I know the ending, I can add stuff to the beginning and the middle that'll make it feel like it was always supposed to happen. Let's see. Bro, we are no help. The poll is at 50-50. Honestly, my own opinion is keep the scene. Just cut them to be shorter so the scene will be snappier. I tried cutting it shorter and it just felt like that didn't feel like the move when I tried it. I could try it again, but yeah, you guys are no help. Y'all are supposed to have definitive answers. Well, we're at 56, so 56 no. So most of y'all think I should keep it, right? Because the question was, should I cut it? And the answer so far is no, I should not cut it. Which I'm now realizing I could have worded that better. But it's important for you guys to know that I actually learned how to read and write in Spanish before I knew how to read and write in English. So if you see spelling errors, lo siento, no eres mi problema. It's just how I was brought up. Let's see. That explains all the dad jokes. Yeah, and they just fall out. I don't even try and make them. It just happens. It's like lightning. There's a lightning strike. Let's see. Since Order 66 reached the Jag pilot and not Wolf, who is a commander, it would be good to add a scene of Wolf looking at the ship flying after killing Plo Koon and nodding. Kind of like in the affirmative, like, oh. Or like after the explosion, he would turn and be like, I don't know. I feel like he might try and look into the... I feel like that would be way too much of a nod to the audience when I'm like... I think this moment is like, if you've seen the Clone Wars, if you know, you know. If you know, you know, kind of a thing. And I think I want to leave it as that. But I don't mind that idea for like another scene. Like if I did like the Republic Commandos having like a reaction where they're like, we have to do this. This isn't our choice. Let's see. Drag actually uploaded his own edit of Rey's vision on Discord showing Exegol in her vision, which is a small thing but really goes a long way of setting up the final film. Completely agree. In episode 7, we need to see in Rey's vision a shot of Exegol. I'm thinking about pretty much completely rewriting her vision so that it actually makes sense. Because right now it's like it's a nice cocktail of like, oh, you remember episode 5? Oh, this is Obi-Wan's voice. And the problem is J.J. Abrams had the task of creating a vision that would foreshadow future movies, but the future movies weren't even planned yet. They had a rough idea of what they were, and that now we have the ability to go back. I definitely want to show some things that the original Force Vision just didn't show. Let's see. Maybe open on the wide shot. Nick, love it. I tried that too. I tried moving that shot anywhere. That was the only place where I think it actually works. But I really I put it in when I say here, I can actually show you all this. So here's what I did. You can see every clip is cut because I took it and I put it in every section. I was like, does it work here? Does it work here? Does it work here? Before being like, no, it has to be the opening of the sequence. Yeah, I could not get it to work anywhere else. I'm also really happy with how this turned out. Just a nice shout out to my buddies here. You know who you are. I originally did not have this shot planned. I was like, I really don't want to add a wide shot to this, and they were like, no, you need it. So you guys were right, as always. It's really annoying how you guys keep getting stuff right and making me do more work, but I like doing the work. So, and it wasn't too crazy hard. It was mostly covered up by clouds. Let's see. Episode 7, Abrams. My villain has a cool helmet. Episode 8, Ryan. He breaks the helmet because he doesn't like it in episode 9, Abrams. My villain's got a cool helmet back. Could not agree more. One of the things I really want to do in episode 9, or I'm sorry, one of the things I want to do in reference to Kylo Ren's helmet in episode 8 is actually steal the footage of him reforging it in episode 9 and move that to episode 8. Just at the very end, this way it doesn't feel like two directors playing tug of war. It feels like the natural end for his character arc in episode 8. He throws away the helmet, he defeats his master, he becomes the supreme leader, and when he puts it back on, when it's reforged, that's his choice and that's his new identity. He's putting Kylo Ren back on. Just when we think, oh, maybe Rey changed his, who he is as a person. That's not true. He ends up donning the Kylo Ren mask yet again. So let's see. The Republic Commandos in episode 3 is an epic idea. Oh yeah, I already have all the models ready to go. It's really it's not in a previs state, but I know the exact concept I want to run with. The problem is scope. Do I want this to take forever, or do I want to get y'all something sooner and then add it after the fact? So the first Commandos might be a small thing, but if I can do it quicker, well, it might be a bigger thing. That's not to be vague for the sake of being vague. That's being vague to protect you guys from getting your hopes up and then you just see a little thing. Whereas the wolf thing, I feel like that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool close-ups. Let's see. There's a really good cutscene in Battlefront 2 that takes place between episode 7 and 8 that explains how the Resistance know about the big ship at the beginning of episode 8, which would help extend it. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, the Dreadnought in episode 8 where the Versio daughter and Versio, they go on a mission and they get to learn about the schematics, which is how the Resistance knows that there's a weak point I don't mind extending stuff for the sake of extending it. I just don't think that fits at the beginning of the movie. If anything, it'd be a really fun nod during the calm chatter of like Versio's intel is good. Giving a name drop. Like, let's hope that Versio info is good. Aim right for the center. Could be cool. I am planning on extending that scene too. I have a buddy who's a big military buff who has so many problems with that scene that we sat down and I said, it's just like let me see all the problems with it, and he just started like writing down, like going line by line. I was like, so we're bound to be halfway done. No, he just kept going, and I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of little errors there. Like, for example, one of the things that, and maybe you guys have some apologetics, some sequel apologetics for those who are like, I need to defend these movies, which, mad respect. But one of the things that comes out to mind in the episode 8 sequence is when the First Order arrives. They have 2 targets. Okay? They have the planet below, and then they have a fleet ahead. And they want to use their orbital cannons to destroy both of them. So, does the First Order target the mobile, the people who can run away, or the stationary? They choose to shoot the stationary and then the mobile, which doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, and when he pointed it out, I was like, oh my goodness, yeah. You shoot the people who can run away, then you shoot... Oh, hold on. We're talking... If anyone just jumped in on that sentence... No, Star Wars. We blast the fleet that can fly away, then we blast the planet. So, how do you fix this as a re-editor? So I have to sit here and I have to be like, okay, so how do we fix this? I think there's a pretty good answer if we give the background, or even if we don't give the background, maybe it's just a lore thing, where what if Dakar base had an orbital cannon, and the First Order had to be like, oh, we have to shoot the ground before they shoot us, and if we shoot the fleet while we're charging up, they'll shoot us. So that would kind of, I think that's how I would fix it. But if there's actually a reason for why they shot the planet and before the fleet, I'd love to know. Let's see. But then the entire episode 9 opening has no helmet during his exegol on Mustafar. This is a reference to me having Kylo Ren rebuild his helmet in episode 8 instead of 9. And yeah, he's going to wear it whenever he wants to wear it. And while he doesn't wear it as he fights, he will wear it when he goes to explore the Mustafar castle. Because I really need him to wear it, because I cannot do Adam Driver's face in CGI. That would look good. I think I could do a really good job if he's wearing a helmet. And then we'll see it like somewhere before. But yeah, he's going to choose to fight without it, because he's like, the Mustafarians, they're chumps. I can wipe them out so fast. No problem. Let's see. Can we get a fan service New Republic Legends Lego flag shot right before the planet gets obliterated? Oh, I know what you're talking. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty funny. But like, it's super high quality and looks photo real, and it's the best work I've ever done. You got it. Problem: bombs dropping in 0G. No, I totally understand how, on first glance, that's a problem. One of the funny things about that one, though, is there actually is a line in the movie. Watching it, I think watching it once or even twice, you don't hear it. But if you watch it 1,000 times, like I have, then there's a line that says preparing magnetic bombardment or something along those lines. It's when the bomber like activates all the bombs. He says that it's a magnetic bombardment in that line. My own personal fan edit of 7 and 8 is to combine them, add some fan edits in Battlefront 2 cutscenes just because they take place a few hours apart from each other. It's not a bad idea at all, especially because they're like squished up next to each other. Yeah, not a bad idea at all to combine those movies next to each other. But I just think that it's probably best if they stay as like I guess maybe this is more my perspective than what's actually best, because I think thematically they're just very different, and so squishing them together kind of has that clash, which could be fun. But I think I'm a sucker for a prequel trilogy, an original trilogy, and a sequel trilogy. Yeah. Let's see. You could add interdictor bulbs to the dreadnought. In concept art, the ship actually had it, but for whatever reason, it wasn't in the final cut. Oh, that would be pretty cool. That would explain why they would have to destroy it. But then, Leia would be like, we need to get out of here. And Poe would be like, no, we got to destroy this dreadnought. But if the dreadnought is a necessity to destroy, which it is in hindsight, but not in this moment, I don't think Leia would say, like, turn around, Poe. But I have thought about adding the interdictors. I really think just adding, like, an orbital cannon to the base would probably be one of the best things to do, because then the First Order has to decide whether they're going to shoot the mobile target but then get shot themselves, or shoot the other target and then or shoot the ground target and then the fleet's defenseless too, because they're so far away. Thank you for your work, man. Lots of exciting stuff. Can't wait to see some releases this year. Me too. It's about time. The scene looks weird with only tanks and spider droids without troops. Is this a reference to the other shot, or is that a reference to mine? I'll wait for that. Nick says maybe so the planet can evacuate, maximizing casualties. True. I could see a thing where, well, yeah, but then why shoot it? If you're waiting for the fleet to evacuate, then you would just wait for them to evacuate and then shoot them as they evacuate, because they know they caught them in the middle of their evacuation. So if you shoot the fleet, then there's nowhere to evacuate to. I guess all the little ships might have hyperdrives, but still, like, you can get rid of so much of their arsenal by destroying the fleet first. Unless you have to destroy the ground first, or risk being shot yourself. And it would be, hey, the Resistance has a cool orbital cannon. They're not ragtag. They are actually supported by the New Republic and would have a ton of military might. That's some of my propaganda that I add in, because in these edits, the New Republic made the Resistance as like a branch, like as a secret CIA agency to stop any mobilization of Imperial defectors from becoming like a big thing. and the only reason that Leia failed was because the Senate could not mobilize the fleet, the New Republic fleet or infantry. So the CIA, it would be like the one little branch of our intelligence agency having to fight a war, and it's like, while the Navy and the Army have to sit and be like, I hope we can join one day. So that's kind of the scenario I'm going with, which I think is far more interesting and adds a really new dynamic to the Star Wars universe. Then I think it's pretty interesting to explore the themes and all the problems that kind of caused the First Order problem. Yeah, they didn't send anyone to attack Leia's cruiser, not even TIE fighters. The Star Destroyers could have fired their cannons, and if even not effective, at least they could have been doing something. Could not agree more. Yeah. What do y'all think of my fix? Do y'all think having an orbital cannon on the ground, does that solve it in your mind? Have I made compelling arguments that this should be at least background or lore addressed at all? Let me know. All right, it's getting pretty late. It's 11:40 right now. Let's go for 5 more minutes. I'll answer a few more questions. I'll chat with you guys a little more. But at 11:45, we'll be done. And then if you're on the Discord, I'll hop on a small. I'll do a Discord call too, so we can chat a little more personably. Let's see. You could just print a flag and film it, to be honest. That would probably be cheaper. No, we have to do completely flag simulation. Unless we got a flag that was like a planet size, that's the only way we're making this happen. It's got to be accurate. If you fix the Ahsoka flashback of clones, the 501st Legion will thank you for life because those armors are incredibly poorly made. Even the poster of Rex had some parts backwards. Haha. I've never noticed that. I'm just gonna tell you guys, with some of the 3D models, I try and pay as close attention to detail as I can, but I know that there are just super minute details that you guys know that I don't. So I probably will also offend the 501st with some of the 3D models that I chose. About the tank and the spider droids, Isla ordered 66. It would be good if you put droids next to the tanks since it looks super strange to only have tanks and not droids. Oh, I see. And her scene. I could try and do that for the background. It's not super high. It wouldn't be super high on the priority list, but I could totally see adding that. My main thing is I don't want to shift focus away from the Order 66 stuff. And if I do a poor job implementing the droids, then it's going to be like, wait, that was weird. And I don't want to break anyone's immersion there, so I kind of might want to just leave it for the sake of preserving the moment and not risk taking someone out. Let's see. Have you seen the Tron Ares trailer? It looks sick. No. But I could see it. Hypothetically. Maybe. I just had a thought. Wouldn't it be cool if the reason they came out of light speed so soon is because the First Order plants an explosive device on their ship to slow them down? Boom. One of their engines would be damaged, but the film would still work with some VFX. I see. Like, the Resistance originally went to a rendezvous point, and they're just waiting for other agencies to come. But you're saying instead of them, like, leaving and exiting at a rendezvous point, they have to exit hyperspace because the Leia ship is damaged. That could work. We just need to show that the First Order started attacking the fleet. But I also don't mind the rendezvous point as a thing because it needs to feel like Leia's secure. And then when the First Order attacks again, it's a big shocking surprise. But yeah, I could see that working. And I don't think it would be too difficult either. Because whenever there's a space shot, you just have to add smoke and fire to the engines. I think it would be kind of weird if no one reacted to it, which would be really tough. New idea. The First Order Dreadnought has the built-in spheres that prevent hyperspace. That's why Poe prioritizes destroying it. Yeah, but then it doesn't make a ton of sense why Leia would be like, Poe, get out of there. Because I think Leia would understand the strategic value of destroying those bulbs. Although, what if we gave it those bulbs and then I added shots of Poe specifically destroying them so that they could escape? Yeah, we'll see. Alright, well, I think that was a really fun discussion. I think there was a lot of ground that we got to cover. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will see you guys soon in the next one. So log off now.